For 2023, there is an updated Indivisible guide. And just like the first one, it is very, very, very nuts and bolts. It is practical, actionable advice. Check this out. This was a joint protest held by Indivisible members and members of the Working Families Party who live in New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler's district. You can see from their signs that what they're protesting here are the very, very unpopular Republican proposals to cut Medicare and cut Social Security. And what Mike Lawler's constituents are doing here tracks with the advice from the new Indivisible guide. Page 13, what to do if you have a Republican member of Congress. Step 1, focus on their unpopular ideas and relentlessly tie them to their least appealing positions or controversies. The guide goes on to say you should use every possible opportunity to get your member of Congress on the record on those issues. And, true to form, just as the Indivisible guide predicted, in response to that protest, Congressman Lawler had to go on the record. He had to release an on-the-record statement to a local news outlet saying that he opposes any cuts to Social Security and Medicare. There it is, in black and white. They got him on the record. Congressman Lawler now on the record opposing cuts to those programs. That is a form of progress in trying to save those programs. Indivisible has now, in March, launched a new campaign targeting 18 Republican members of Congress, including Mike Lawler, who represent districts that President Biden won in the 2020 election. So they are Republican members, but their district voted for Biden. The reason those 18 are being targeted by Indivisible in this new campaign is because, practical as ever, Indivisible believes that that's the start of the road for Democrats to take back the House in 2024. You start with picking off those 18 and you move on from there. Joining us now is Ezra Levin, who's co-founder of Indivisible, who has joined us from time to time over the past few years to talk about the progress of this group and how this very practical approach to organizing is working in our divided and easily distracted society. Ezra, it is nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Great to see you, Rachel.
Was that an appropriate way to describe the trajectory that this is there's a new Indivisible guide for 2023. It's specific to the fact that Republicans are in control of the House, and it's about sort of protecting progressive priorities, but also trying to orient Democrats toward taking back control of the House as soon as possible.
Gosh, Rachel, you did such a good job. I'm going to struggle to add to it, but I'll try. And that is this. We really have, I'm not shy about it. We have a top level goal. I would like to see us retake the House, hold the Senate, hold the presidency, reform the filibuster, codify Roe, pass democracy reform. That's my North Star. That's the North Star of Indivisible's all throughout the country. The theory is exactly as you laid out. We are not going to take every single one of the 435 House districts in 2024. That's not the pathway to victory. The pathway to victory is where is the low-hanging fruit? And it turns out, just as you said, there are 18 Republican members of Congress who represent districts that Biden won in 2020. So what do you do in those districts? How do you take on these folks? Now, there's this guy, Mike Lawler, who you just covered. I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably 99% of people have not heard of Representative Mike Lawler. They've heard of Marjorie Taylor Greene. They've heard of Matt Gaetz. They've heard of Lauren Boebert. Why haven't they heard of Mike Lawler? And it's because this guy who represents a Biden won district knows that he's got one path to reelection, and that is you've got to raise a whole bunch of money from donors like he was. You got to vote more or less the way those donors want you to vote. He votes 94% of the time with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And 3, this is the tricky part. This is the really tricky part. You've got to convince your constituents that you're not one of the bad guys in Congress. And so that means keeping your constituents in the dark, trying to not say that you vote 94% of the time with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And the good news is sunlight is the best disinfectant, and constituents based in that 17th congressional district were able to show up and say, hey, you got to represent us. Don't side with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in this one instance, we were able to help limit the harm from this member of Congress. Now, we are going to try to do that in every single one of these 18 districts. Sometimes we're going to get them to go on the record. Sometimes they're going to vote against us. And so it's going to depend on constituents in those districts to hold them accountable and make sure there is a political price to pay for their extremism.
Ezra, over the past 6 years that you've been involved in this organizing effort, which again started small and turned into this big thing, do you feel like there are big lessons learned in terms of what works, what's effective, what you might have thought from the outset will work that doesn't, or things that you've steered more toward because they have had multiplicative effects? They've been more effective than you thought?
You know, one thing that we always say is pictures or it didn't happen. You can call your unrepresentative, one of these 18, and they are going to have a staffer take down your message and say, oh, we are really concerned with what you have to say. But if that doesn't go anywhere, then there will be no accountability. So seeing what these constituents actually did in the districts to get local attention, they got local press coverage of their event. They got him on the record. That's what moved him. So as much as possible, I do think it is important to lean into public pressure. That's what a member of Congress running in the district really cares about. It's one of the reasons why if you go to indivisible.org, you can check out the resources we've got. If you're in district, you can connect with other local groups who are doing this work and do the work in real time. If you're out of district, we are working to connect folks out of district to support real constituents in those districts. So I hope everybody knows that it doesn't mean you've got to be in the district to be supportive of this effort. We think everybody has a role to play. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to empower everybody to make sure Congress is truly representative.
Ezra Levin, co-founder of Indivisible, as always, doing some of the most practical, strategically interesting organizing in the country. Thanks for being with us again, Ezra. It's nice to see you.
Good to see you, Rachel.